Today I want to talk to you about when heaven rewrites math. I was never good at math. In fact, my high school teacher told me once that you don't find you you don't find a solution, you feel it. What? I thought that was brilliant until I realized that's not how calculus works. But then when I met Jesus and I realized he was terrible at math too. How could he leave the 99 and chase one? He forgives 77 times. He pays workers the same wage whether they clocked in at sunrise or 5 minutes before closing time. By human standards, that is bad math. But by heaven's standard, that's grace. The calculus of the gospel doesn't balance like ours does. It breaks the equation on purpose. Hi, my name is Jules, and I know I always talk about my leadership journey. And today I want to share with you how I'm still here and talking about it. Let me tell you a story that didn't add up in my life. The time when I said yes to becoming a clinic manager with zero training. And when I said yes to this job that I wasn't qualified for, the math did not make sense. By human math, no experience plus no support equals certain failure, right? But grace changed the formula. I showed up scared and somehow I kept showing up. Grace multiplies what logic disqualifies. In the calculus of the gospel, grace outweighs effort. You don't earn God's favor, you simply receive it. It's the one equation where the answer always points back to love. The gospel loves to flip equations. Lose your life and you will find it. Serve others and you become great. You give and then you receive. Jesus is the ultimate math rebel. I remember one staff meeting years ago when tensions were running high. Everyone was tired, frustrated, and trying to prove they were not the problem. Finger pointing. It started with a simple issue. Morning appointment were running late and patients were waiting and complaining, giving you the side eyes. But instead of fixing the system, we started fixing blame. I sat there thinking, if I can just say the right thing, maybe I can control this whole thing. So I did what any overachieving leader would do. I started add more meeting, add more reminders, add more rules. But the more I added, the more exhausted we all became, because the real math problem wasn't about schedules. It was about the heart. We had forgotten the equation that mattered most. Care enough to show up on time and treat every patient like our own mother or our father that we care about. That day, I thought leadership was addition. Add more tasks, more hours, more pressure. But heaven whispered, try subtraction, my child. Subtract worry, subtract pride, subtract needing to prove yourself, and that's when peace began to multiply. Because here's the thing about heaven's math, it never stopped flipping the formula. Just when you think you've reached the end of your limit, God introduces infinity. No matter how far we fall short, His grace doesn't taper off. It keeps extending, expanding, multiplying, approaching us again and again, but never reaching zero. Because in the calculus of the gospel, the limit of grace is infinity. I remember one night after a long clinic day, the kind where you just run out of caffeine, patience, and maybe low on hope too. Everything that could go wrong did. Supplies were short, staff were tense, phones crazy, ringing off the hook, and one of the best employees had just walked into my office in tears because of something I had said too sharply in the middle of chaos. When the last patient left, I walked out, sat in my car, and just exhaled. The silence hit harder than I expected. For the first time in years, I thought, maybe I'm not cut out for this anymore. Maybe I've pushed too hard. Maybe I just blew it this time. And right then and there, in that dim clinic parking lot, I told God, I can't do this anymore. And I heard in my spirit so gently, then let me. That sentence wrecked me in the best way because it wasn't correction, it was an invitation. That's when I realized grace isn't God helping you do more, it's Him being more through you. Grace doesn't erase mistakes, it redefines them. It takes what should have been a minus and turns it into a testimony of multiplication. The very moment you think you've failed the formula, heaven adds a new variable called mercy. That's the math of the kingdom. Your weakness plus His strength equals infinite grace. So what does this mean for us today? Maybe you've been doing your own math, adding up your failures, subtracting your worth, dividing your heart between faith and fear. But heaven is saying, let me recalculate. Because in the calculus of the gospel, love is constant and grace always tips the scale in your favor. Your sin plus His sacrifice equals salvation. Your pain plus His purpose equals power. You're not enough, and His I am is more than enough. So until next time, my friends, stand and deliver on the grace that doesn't add up but always multiplies. Aloha.